Hey guys, welcome back to 31 Days of Pomp-o-Ween. If you're new here and don't know what I'm talking about, then welcome. My name is Pompberry and I love Halloween, and so I like to celebrate by releasing one Halloween tutorial a day during the month of October, hence 31 Days of Pomp-o-Ween. Today I'm going to be doing something really special. I am doing a request from one of my patrons. She's actually a producer of mine on Patreon. Thank you so much, Audrey, for all your support, and thank you for requesting this video. She requested that I do Mystique from the X-Men comic books, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you don't know what Patreon is and you're a little bit confused, it's basically a modern day patronage system where you can support your favorite artists. And if you want to find out more about it, I'm going to leave it linked down below. So yeah, today's going to be exciting. I'm going to be using Airbrush for my base, which I don't do a lot of here on this channel, so I think it's going to be really fun. I think I can just get started with it, but before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support means the world to me, especially during Pomp-o-Ween, because 31 videos is no joke. It's a lot of hard work. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your continuous support. I love you guys so much. Today I'm going to be using the Pache Model H single action airbrush gun. It looks a little something like this. And the paint I'm going to be using is the Makeup Forever Color Airbrush. For my base, I'm using the color M200. It's just this primary blue. And I'm going to start off by doing my shoulders and neck, and then I'm going to put on my shirt, and then I'll do my face. Now, today I won't be going super in depth about airbrush. If you want to learn more about airbrushing, I'm doing a full series up on my Patreon. I have exclusive videos on there, so I am doing an airbrushing series for those who are interested. So today I'm not going to go super in depth, but I will be showing you my airbrushing technique. So, for airbrush paints, you always want to shake them up before you use them. The reason is the pigment is suspended in the liquid, so you want to make sure that the pigment is distributed evenly. Then I'm going to put a few drops into my little cup, and I'm just going to go straight into it. So with airbrushing, you never want to stay in one spot. You always want to do like little circular motions or side to side. And you could use normal face paints for this, obviously, but I wanted to show you guys something different and get a super even application. A big reason for using airbrush is that you can get a super even application in a really small amount of time. You don't have to fuss with it too much, and your application is going to look super flawless, super even. Don't forget your armpits. Now, you can see how even the application is, and it took me like zero effort. I don't think I've ever airbrushed with my left hand before, but I need to just to make sure I get all the spots that I can't reach with this hand. And I really love this paint for body painting, especially because the Makeup Forever airbrush colors are a really unique product. They're a hybrid between an alcohol and a silicone-based paint, so they do not come off once they're on. Once they set, they don't rub off. Like, they really don't. So they're great for body painting. I'm also going to do the top of my neck. I am going to be wearing a turtleneck, so I don't need to paint all of it, but I am going to paint this upper part here. Okay, so I did a bit of my chin as well because I don't want to risk getting any on the shirt. It is a white shirt, so I just did that to be safe. Now the other shoulder, and that noise you hear is my compressor, by the way. So now I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to put the shirt on. And the reason I'm putting the shirt on before I do my face is because it's really tight around the head and I don't want it smudging all my face makeup. Okay, I've got my shirt on, so now it's time to paint the face. And it's just going to be the same process, doing small circular motions. And I just want to make sure I'm not going to get any on my shirt, so I'm just putting some paper towel right here. And I'm painting over my eyebrows because I do want the skin underneath to be blue. I am going to be painting them red, but I do want to have some blue in there. And I'm going to paint the wig cap right in the middle because the wig does have a middle part, so I want the blue to peek through. Then I'm just going to do a second pass to make sure everything looks even. Now I'm ready to start highlighting. And I'm going to do that by mixing in some of the white Makeup Forever Color Airbrush paint. So I'm going to pop that into my little cup. And there's still blue in here, so I'm mixing it together to get a nice little light blue. So I'm going to close up the needle because I want to be very delicate with this application. And I'm going to start on my shoulder actually, because then if I mess up, it's not as bad as on the face. This way I can test out the strength. Seems to be clogging up when I'm closing the needle. Why is it clogging up now? See, that's the one thing I hate about airbrushes is that they can clog up, they can malfunction. It's not fun. Okay, so I think I managed to unclog my gun, but I got paint all over my shirt in the process. It's fine. And I'm gonna apply the light blue color on the highest points of my face and my body. So I'm just applying it onto my shoulder. Just want to create a highlight there. And you can see the difference that makes. That already gives way more volume. It makes it more believable rather than something that's just flat like this. I always say the most important part when changing your skin color completely to like blue, red, green, whatever, is doing highlighting and contouring, because you can see my face looks really, really flat right now with just the blue. So highlighting and contouring is really going to give life to my face. So I'm just going to highlight how I would normally. Ooh, that's a little strong. Okay, so my gun was clogging too much, so I just took it apart and cleaned it. Now I think everything is going to go smoothly. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'm just going to highlight the high points of my face. You can see I'm kind of sculpting out the volume in the face. So you can see the difference between this side and this side. I'm also going to do my nose. Then I'm bringing that nose highlight onto my forehead. Okay, so now that I look like an alien, I really tried to highlight under my eyes. I went a little overboard with the highlighting here, but I can fix that later. The thing with airbrush I find is that it's so easy to get carried away. Like I can just keep airbrushing and airbrushing and airbrushing. So for me, it's hard to just say like, okay, done. And now I'm gonna be doing a tiny bit of contouring. I'm mixing the Makeup Forever color airbrush in the color M704. It's the red. I'm mixing a drop of that into the blue. Okay, maybe a little more than just one drop. Okay, so I mixed 4 drops. And now I know that red and blue make purple, but when you have more blue than you have red, it just darkens the blue up a bit. So that's the color I've got. Okay, so I'm really closing down the size of the needle so that I can be really gentle with this. And I'm just going to contour wherever I just want to deepen that contour a little bit. So around my forehead, for sure. Under my bottom lip. I'm going to hit the sides of my lips, my chin. Making sure I don't get anything on my shirt. I'm just using that to bring down the highlight here a little bit. It was a little too intense for my liking. And ideally you'd also contour the body, but because I've got the shirt on, I don't want to risk getting it dirty. And now I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. It's got a lot of volume. It looks really even. So now I can move on to the normal makeup. Now, I always like layering products, and because I'm much more comfortable with a brush than I am with an airbrush, I always like to go in and kind of finish up using a powdered product on top. So I'm going to take Sugar Pills Taco, which is this white, and I'm just going to use that on certain points that I just want to really make stand out, like the very high points of my cheekbones. And I could do this in airbrush, honestly I totally could, but I'm just more comfortable with an actual brush, so I prefer doing these like finishing details with a brush. I'm also gonna do my brow bone and my nose. I'm going to take a tiny little pencil brush so I can really just do the ridge of the Cupid's bow. Actually, I also want to take this and highlight right here, my chin. That just kind of evens out everything, even though, I mean, airbrush is already evened out, but I prefer the finish when I layer a shadow over top. And then same thing with the contours. I'm going to take the Melt Blueprint stack and I'm going to use the color Dim Out. It's this matte dark blue. I'm going to use that to contour my nose. I'm going to deepen the contour right here, which I didn't do with the airbrush. I didn't want to risk messing up the nose or anything, so I'm doing it with an eyeshadow where I can be really precise with my application. Taking that and also deepening right here a little bit. Make sure both sides are even. Now, she doesn't have any blush, anything like that, so the skin is 100% done. We don't have to touch it. It's just eyes, eyebrows, lips, and that's it. So as far as makeup goes, it's pretty simple. But today I'm going to be showing you a cool technique that I think is really handy when it comes to doing characters that have eyes that are a full color. So Mystique has bright yellow eyes, and I don't have yellow sclera contacts, you know, those ones that fill up the entire eye. So I'm going to do a little trick where I'm going to paint the eyes on my eyelids. So when I have my eyes closed, it's going to look like my eyes are full on yellow. Now this is super handy if you want to do characters like Mystique or Storm also. also from X-Men, and you don't have the big contacts or you just don't want to wear them because they're super uncomfortable. So you can feel free to just pop on some normal yellow contacts and then just do some normal eye makeup and then call it a day. But today I'm going to be showing you how to draw a fake eye on your eyelids. But before that, I'm going to start with my eyebrows. So for my eyebrows, I'm going to start off with a red liquid lipstick. This is the NYX Liquid Suede in the color Kitten Heels. This matches the wig. The wig I have is pretty dark red. So I'm just going to take some of that on the back of my hand, and I might have to layer a few products because the red might mix in with the blue that's on my skin, but we'll figure it out. So first, you just want to make sure that all your hairs are kind of in place, and I'm going to take that and brush it lightly on my hairs more than on my skin. I'm trying to kind of just coat my little brow hairs in this. She's got pretty thin brows, so I'm going to keep them pretty thin and pretty arched. I think I also want to bring that down a bit. Really elongate the brow. Do a bit of a sharp arch. So once that's dry, I'm going to take Sugarpill's Nurse Liquid Lipstick, and I'm just going to layer that on top to brighten it up a little bit. You can see this just makes the brows a little bit redder, a little bit brighter. Since we've got Nurse out, I'm going to do the lips, but first I'm going to clean them off with a little makeup remover. I don't want any blue getting in the way. So I'm just using Sugarpill Nurse. Her lips match her hair. She just has a very kind of classic lip shape. This red is just the perfect red lip. And now you can see why I highlighted right around the lips. It just helps to make them stand out a little bit more since it's red against blue. That just creates a little division that I think makes the lips really stand out. Now for the eyes, I'm going to have to make sure that my lids are completely clean. I don't want any blue getting in the way of the yellow. Just cleaning up all of that. Now I'm going to be painting my lids yellow, and I don't want that yellow to transfer at all. So I'm going to be using a heavy duty primer. This is the NYX Proof It Waterproof Eyeshadow Primer, and I find that this really makes things stick to it and they don't budge. But I also want to mix in a little bit of a yellow base. So I'm using the Makeup Forever Flash Palette, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with this yellow base, and I'm just going to apply it all over where I want the yellow. Doesn't really matter if I go over a little bit because I am going to be fixing up the edges with black. And then I'm going to take the eyeshadow base, and I am not going to open up my eye until it is done. So I'm going to take that base, and I'm just going to layer it on top. Then, as I said, no opening your eyes. Now I'm going to take the Sugarpill eyeshadow in the color Butter Cupcake. It's this matte yellow, and I'm going to pack that on to set my eye. I want to really load up on the color. I'm going to take an even smaller brush to make sure that I'm really packing that color around the edges. I've actually cosplayed as Storm, and I did this technique on my eyes, but with white. And they lasted all day at the convention. It was awesome. I also want to take a bit of the white and just kind of give volume to the eyes. So I'm just applying it to the center. Now I'm going to take the NYX Epic Ink Liner, and I'm going to basically trace this new eye to try to make it more eye-shaped. I'm going to start by lining my lash line. Then here, this line is going to go up in the inner corner because I want to create a new tear duct. And I'm also going to outline the upper edge. So that's pretty much the gist of it. You can adjust this shape to your liking, and then let it thoroughly dry before you open your eyes. Now, to make the shape a little bit more realistic, instead of just completely tracing it like that, I thickened it in the inner corner so that the inner corner would taper just a bit more, and it makes for a more realistic eye shape. So I'm going to do the same on this side, and I'll show you. I just thickened right here. And you can compare both sides by tilting your head up and looking down, and that way you can see both at the same time. And the best way to check if both eyes are even is by taking a selfie, and then you can see exactly how they're looking, and you can change things up if necessary. And I do want to make it a little bit more realistic, so I'm going to take a dark yellow eyeshadow. I'm going to take the Subculture palette, and I'm going to take the color Edge on my little teeny tiny pencil brush, and I'm going to shade around it to give some volume and dimension to the eye. And you can go over the black. You don't have to really worry about that. It's good if it softens up the black a little bit. Just taking it along all the edges You can go back in with the yellow, blend that out, or even with the white, like right here. You can see this just creates a bit of depth. I'm also taking the color New Wave, just because it's a slightly brighter color. Now I'm going to do the part around the yellow, and I'm going to take my flash palette again, and I'm going to be taking the dark blue on a little pointed pencil brush. And I'm just going to go around the eye, because I want to create depth here. And I am going to go with eyeshadows and all that, but I want a base layer of cream first so that the eyeshadows can really stick on. And then I'm going to take that eyeshadow dim out, and I'm going to pack it on top to set that blue. I'm going to blend that out. Using the little dual-ended brush that comes in the Dose of Color palettes, this brush is everything for doing little detail work around the eyes like this. I'm going to blend that into this area here. You can see that's already shaping up to look like an eye. And I'm going to do the same under my eye. So I'm just going to pop some of that cream color on and then set it with the Melt eyeshadow. Now I'm going to just darken that a little bit more. I'm going to go in with my Black Moon Cosmetics Orb of Light palette, and I'm taking the black, and I'm just going to go along that upper edge. I'm also going to take that along my lash line. Once that's done, I'm going to take my Sugar Pill Taco again, and I'm going to apply that in this new inner corner. So it's going to be above my own inner corner. And I'm just blending that out a little bit. And then I'm also going to take that right here on my brow bone to get the little brow hairs that I didn't cover up with the red, and to extend this brow bone highlight towards the end of the brow. Now I kind of just want to intensify this highlight a little bit more, just a touch, and on the tip of my nose, on my chin. And you can see there's yellow eyeshadow on my lashes, so I'm just taking the brush I used for the dark colors and just making sure to dust that yellow eyeshadow off. For my waterline, I'm going to take the e.l.f. and Jkissa eyeliner, and I'm just going to fill that in. It's just a dark blue. I don't want any skin tone showing up. And then I'm going to tightline my top lashes with the Milk eyeliner in the color Boss. It's just the black. And you could add mascara if you wanted to, but then it could make your eyelashes stand out. And since you don't have any eyelashes on the top, it would look kind of weird that you only have lashes on the bottom. You could also draw in fake lashes here at the top, or apply a strip lash right here into your crease to give the illusion of eyelashes. But I'm pretty happy with how it's looking like this from far away. I think it looks cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put my wig on, and then the last thing I have to do is glue on the little skull on the forehead. So I just had to open the door for the mailman, and he was utterly confused. But anyway, got my wig on, and now I'm going to apply this little tiny baby skull onto my forehead. And I sculpted this out of paper clay, and if you want to see how I did it, there's a video tutorial up on my Patreon, so you can go check that out. It's patreon.com/pompberry, and I'm going to be attaching it to my forehead using Pros-Aid. Now, Pros-Aid is a prosthetic adhesive, and the way it works is you have to apply it to the prosthetic, you have to apply it to the skin, wait for both to dry, and then stick them together. So I'm just going to drop it directly onto the little skull, and I'm spreading it around with a little Q-tip. Then I'm also going to apply it where I want that skull to go. Now I just have to wait for that to dry. It dries clear, so that's how you know it's dry, and then I can just stick it on. So now that it's dried clear, you can see it's a little shiny, but it's clear. I'm just going to take my little skull and make sure it is centered. There we go. That's so cute! And I didn't really want him too shaded in, but I might take some eyeshadow and just shade inside his eye sockets. Because I did shade him a little bit, but I feel like it could be a little bit more intense. And now if you wanted to add one last little detail to make the eyes pop even more, you can take a white eyeliner. I'm taking the Suva Beauty Hydra Liner in the color Space Panda, and you can take that on a little tiny brush and create points of light. Create like reflections on the eye. You'll have to mimic the same reflections on both eyes. And this is the finished look. And when you don't have your eyes closed, it just looks like you have yellow eyeshadow, like it's just whatever. But then you close them and you get the full effect. which I think is pretty cool. It's really comfortable. You don't have to worry about contacts. You don't have to worry about eyelashes. You don't have to worry about anything. It makes it super, super comfortable. So then you just close your eyes whenever you're going to take a picture, and that's it. I kind of wish I didn't have to take this off right now, but I have to get ready to go to an event, and I'm kind of bummed. I wish I could go like this. I am digging being blue, and I'm digging this wig too. I'm liking the sleek hair. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Audrey, I hope you like it. I hope I did Mystique justice, and I want to know who your favorite X-Men character is. I think mine is Storm, honestly, but I want to know who's your favorite. Let me know down below. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of airbrushing, just to change things up a little bit here on this channel. There will be a lot of body painting this month. There already has been. If you haven't watched my previous Pomp-o-Ween videos, then be sure to check out the playlist up here. So you'll be seeing me turn into so many different colors this month. It's going to be crazy. And I'm not going to be using the airbrush in those videos. So I just thought I'd change things up for this one. That's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to all my patrons. Special thank you to Audrey for being a producer and for requesting this video. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another day of Pomp-o-Ween. I'll see you then. Bye.